High school is said to be the best time of our lives, and I suppose that is true when you're not a member of a minority group. Racism, homophobia, xenophobia, sexism, and ableism has always been an issue in our society, but that is no excuse for schools, students, and administration to not be held accountable.
When I was a sophomore in high school, after being outspoken about the stuff that was happening in our school, I had a group of students call my house for a week straight, calling me the N-word and saying that they were waiting outside of my house to kill me. When I told the school, they said that they're addressing it, and they took my statement, and after days of wondering what was happening, they said that they couldn't do anything about it because A, it didn't happen in school, even though I knew that the students went to the school, and B, that it wasn't their job. They also forced me to talk to the student resource officer, and they said thank you for giving a statement, and that if it ever happens again, that I should continue to talk to them. This went on for a week straight. I also posted on social media advocating for help, and my post was screenshotted and sent around the school. I was then bullied and basically told that I needed to shut up and that nobody cared about my story. I also currently have a list of all of the attacks that have happened to me at the school as a result to keep track, because there's been so many, I literally can't remember them anymore. I'm currently taking PSEO classes at the U of M because 1, I want to get a head start on my college education, and 2, the thought of going to Woodbury full-time is actually terrifying. This past summer, I was diagnosed with PTSD as a result of all the abuse that I endured at the school, and I'm still working through all the trauma that I've had to endure going there for 3 years.
So many traumatic things have happened to me, all because of the color of my skin. Anonymous pages have been made about me, calling me the N-word, and telling me to take my life because I'm Black. I've had things thrown at me, such as full plastic 12-ounce bottles of water and pencils, all because I was friends with a boy who was white. I never felt safe at school after these events. I was uncomfortable in my skin and felt ugly. I grew very anxious over time and had to see a therapist. This anxiety has affected me so negatively and completely changed my life. Even deciding to speak at this event was challenging for me. I've had so many suicidal thoughts, and Sally would think, if I had white skin, would all this be happening to me? I remember the days when I would wait for my bus to pick me up, and my chest would feel like it was closing in, and I grew sick to my stomach. The kids on my bus would purposely put their backpacks in the open space so I wouldn't have to sit by them. They made me feel as if I was a monster. There is an ongoing cycle of racism in the Prior Lake Savage School areas, and it needs to stop now. It's 2021, and almost a new year. So why, when I step into school, I go back in time?
In elementary school, our parents were allowed to join us for lunch and recess. My dad would often come visit me, mostly on French toast stick days. But it never occurred to me him being Black was such a big deal. I remember one time we were eating lunch and some other kids from a class approached us. They asked if they could touch his hair, because at the time he had an afro. They also asked if they could feel his muscles. And inviting new friends over was always difficult in both elementary school and middle school. The same thing was always said after they met my dad. Your dad is actually really nice. Or, I thought your dad was scary. But he's not. Of course I knew what they really meant when they said these things.
If you Google Woodbury High School, the first thing that will pop up is like article after article about how racist the school is. We have article after article. For example, one of our teachers currently, who still works there, Nora Wise, she uses the N-word every single time she reads Huckleberry Finn, and there's a 60-minute segment about her because she has all her students say it 3 times so that they can be comfortable with the word. She still works there, and the school defends her every time that someone brings it up to her. A couple weeks ago, we had students ask her about the situation, and she said that she wasn't currently comfortable giving a statement on why she does it, but she's comfortable enough to say the word. I just want to ask all the representatives who are here and on Zoom, like, what is the point of your job when we have student after student coming up here and speaking on the trauma that they're experiencing, and they haven't even lived 2 decades yet? We have literal 8-year-olds experiencing racism while white students don't even have to learn about it. This is the problem, and until the white adults and the administrators and representatives sit and figure out a discussion and figure out a solution to this going to continue to happen. And honestly, myself, and I can say for a lot of other students, we're tired of having discussions like this. We've told our stories a million times. It's now up to you to figure out something and stop it.